Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Book Review. In this video, I am going to review about this book, The Picture of Dorian Gray, written by Oscar Wilde. This book was first published in 1891. At that time, this book had met various controversies, but in modern times, this book was considered as one of the classics of Gothic literature. Apart from many essays and dramas, this is the only novel written by Oscar Wilde. Normally, fiction novels revolve around some kind of strong story plot. But this novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, revolves around characters. There are three main characters in the story: Dorian Gray, Basil Hallward, and Lord Henry. Dorian Gray was a young aristocrat boy who had a charming face. His face has the capacity to melt the hearts of any people who sees him. Apart from this, Dorian Gray was a pure soul. This is the character depiction of the main protagonist, Dorian Gray. The next character is Basil Hallward. He was an artist, a painter, who was a morally upright person. There was a special relationship between Dorian Gray and Basil Hallward, because Basil Hallward had literally worshipped Dorian Gray. That was a kind of relationship between these two characters. The next character is Lord Henry. Here is a man who doesn't care about the social morality, social rules, and all other things. He has his own law and own theory to conduct the life. In that, he gives importance to his own enjoyment, own excitement, and own sensuality. So that is the kind of character Lord Henry is. So the relationship between these three characters and its consequence, that forms the core part of this book, The Picture of Dorian Gray. The main story plot revolves around one picture that was drawn by Basil Hallward. That pictures contain the life-size portrait of Dorian Gray. Basil Hallward had considered this drawing is his masterpiece art because he had captured the charmness, youthfulness, and graceness of Dorian Gray as it is in this portrait. And one important thing to note here is, at the time of drawing this portrait, Dorian Gray was such a pure soul. But while finishing this portrait, Dorian Gray was influenced by the thoughts and opinions of Lord Henry. So because of this influence, Dorian Gray was now obsessed with his own beauty and youthfulness. So because of this obsession, Dorian Gray had made a curious wish. That wish has turned as a curse for Dorian Gray. That wish had started to chase Dorian from starting to the end. Because of this wish, the portrait of Dorian Gray, the beautiful picture, started to act as a mirror of conscience of Dorian's soul. Like mirror that shows our own image, this portrait drawn by Basil Hallward had started to show the nature of soul of Dorian Gray. Like for every sin that Dorian committed, this beautiful picture started to turn into ugly. But this change in portrait does not change the minds of Dorian Gray to get away from the influence of Lord Henry. What Dorian did is, he simply hid away this portrait that reflects his own conscience from the public view. He locked away in a separate room. After that, he had walked along the path that was influenced by Lord Henry for days, for years. 18 years down the line, Dorian Gray started to feel for salvation. But what happened in between that time? What happened next? That forms the rest of the story. There are no single interpretation for this book. There are multiple interpretations, because it is not easy to say what causes the pure soul of Dorian Gray had started to move from pure to bad, bad to worse, worse to evil. What led to these transformations? What led to the metamorphosis of Dorian Gray from pure soul to evil soul? So there are no single interpretation for this story. We can give multiple interpretation. Here is my take about this novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. I had explored this novel through the characters. For example, the character of Dorian Gray. He was a pure soul initially, but after gets influenced by the character of Lord Henry, he was obsessed with his own beauty and youthfulness. In order to protect this beauty and youthfulness, he was ready to sell his own soul. After selling his soul, what he did is, he hid away the corrupted soul from the public view in order to maintain his social position. So here, I don't consider this is only the story of Dorian Gray. This is the story of society we live in. This is a story about you and me, because we are also, like Dorian Gray, was obsessed with some kind of materialistic thing. In order to gain this materialistic thing, we are corrupting our own soul, and we are hiding this soul from others to maintain our social position. So there is a similarity between the story of Dorian Gray and the story of society we live in. So like that, there is another character, Lord Henry. This characters will give a huge appeal and attraction to the readers. But the character of Lord Henry shows some dark reality of human beings. So like this, I take the moral of the story through the characters. So this is purely my interpretation. So like this, we can give many interpretations for this novel through various ways. So I would like to quote one thing from this book. There is no such book as moral or immoral books. Books are only well written or badly written. So it is for the readers to decide whether this book is well written or badly written. So I hope the information that I shared in this video will give a brief review about this book, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Thank you.